Hey there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website techinterview.guide, and I'm here to help people with career advancement and interview preparation. My live stream on Twitch covers topics such as company research, how to build resumes and cover letters, applying for the job, getting through interviews, and what to do during negotiations. I've coached thousands and thousands of people over the years to get jobs at the biggest tech companies in the industry, and I'm here to help you too. The following episode is taken from a longer live stream event and may contain interactions with other people in chat. Check out the end of the episode for more information. Let's get to it. So another follow-up question in chat. Tell me about yourself. Does that include personal interests outside of the office that might contribute towards being an asset to the team? Yeah, absolutely. It could. If it's like a fitness company and you're going to go build software for, like a fitness tracking kind of app, and you're also avid fitness, then you can say like, yeah, I understand the industry because this is something that I do as a hobby. That's the value that you're bringing. That's why they were probably interviewing you in the first place, is because they see something about your profile or projects that you've already done where you already stand out in that regard. So anything that you tell them during that whole, like, tell me about yourself is really like, this is all of the value that you really need to care about. At the same time, you can tell them other things like, oh yeah, and I play guitar, and I like playing tennis, and I like going on long road trips and things like that. It may not be relevant to the job, but it's still interesting things for them to know that you're human, that you're not just going to like sit at your computer and code 20 hours a day and have no other life. They do want to know that you're a well-rounded individual and that you do have outside interests. You don't have to go into a ton of explanation and detail about it unless they ask. Like, oh, you play guitar? Cool. What kind of guitar do you play? I also play guitar. And they may nerd out on that for a moment and then say, okay, cool. We got to bring it back to the interview. And so sometimes it can create kind of a bond between you and your interviewer if you've got common ground on things. This is also why it's helpful to know who you're interviewing with. And so anytime you have an interview, talk to the recruiter about who you're interviewing with and see if you can look up anything about their background. If they are a guitar player and you're also a guitar player and they're like, tell me about yourself. You're like, I love riffing on guitars. And they're like, I also play guitars. In your mind, you're like, I know. That's why I brought that up. You're not going to say that in the interview. Like, oh yeah, I totally researched you and I know you play guitar. So that's why I specifically, because then they're like, oh, okay, well then you're just bringing that up because you want to score points. But you can still score those points by just doing the research about them and then talking about like, oh, this is common ground that you and I have. And then this is the overall like value that I bring to the company. So yeah, you can totally riff on that kind of thing. But it helps if you know who is interviewing you. Some companies won't tell you necessarily who you're going to be interviewing with. And some people don't put a lot of stuff on their social media profiles about like outside hobbies and interests. Like on LinkedIn, for example, I don't do like, oh, I've got a purebred Labrador and I want to get into dog shows. And, but I do talk about my 3D printing. I do talk about coding and automation and the things that I do on my LinkedIn. And so, if I say like, hey, tell me about yourself. If you were like, oh yeah, I love like automating things. I'm like, I also love to automate things. And now there's like a better communication and like I feel closer to you as an interviewer and I'm more likely to be favorable toward you. So anything you can do to kind of like find that common ground is beneficial. But if you don't know necessarily anything about them and you're just walking in and you're getting introduced to a complete stranger, that's okay. You can still say like, these are the core values that I have that's that I'm bringing to the company. On the side, I also do a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. But again, they're not looking for a whole explanation of like, I grew up in Canada and I played ice hockey for 12 years and blah, 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 blah. Well, I played 6 years. If it's a sports company though, I'm totally going to bring that up. Yeah, growing up, I played a lot of hockey. I was really active as a kid. I played a little bit of tennis. I played a little bit of volleyball. I was big into martial arts. In college, less so because I was like going heads down on computer science-y kinds of things and got into engineering. Now I love hiking and biking and taking my dog for a walk. So, I'm a little bit older male, so I'm not as active as I was as a kid, but I was really into sports. And so I understand the sports mentality and the teamwork and the coaching and all that kind of stuff. And so again, if it's a sports company, I'm going to bring up more about that part of my background because it is applicable to the company. But again, I'm not asking for every little detail. You've got like a 2 or 3 minute window to explain the value and really answer the question of why should I hire you? Thanks for checking that out. I hope that you found it helpful. I always appreciate feedback, so please let me know what you think. I appreciate any subscriptions, so please tell your friends and colleagues about it as well. Check out the website techinterview.guide for more information about when I'm live streaming and all of my free content. Drop by a live stream anytime to ask questions or message me privately, whatever makes you most comfortable. See you next time.